Welcome back to the Lapdown Podcast. And I've got a little spring in me step because it's getting a little bit close. We've seen cars go round in circles for a bit, and then they didn't go round for a bit because they had to stop and the lights went off, but then they went round again a bit. And now we're a week away from them doing it a lot quicker than that, or with a bit more purpose. But in the meantime, we've got all sorts of stuff to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it with Dan Jadzovic, who's sitting over there in the same country as me for once. Can you believe it? Dan, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. It's got to be the first time in about 3 months, isn't it, that we are in the same time zone?
Can you believe it?
I mean, you've been jet setting all over the world. I've been in the same place. Yeah. Not much excitement's happened for me. I've just stayed here, but it is getting closer. Testing has happened. Did you see the bus on the track? That was an interesting
what was that doing?
I mean, who knows? Who knows? There were some interesting points about testing though, which I think kind of adds into it because yeah, we haven't got the most to talk about with testing, have we? But we've got drivers' helmets to talk about.
Oh.
And that is their safety protection and not the end of their penises.
Correct.
We've got our very, very strong, educated and highly opinionated things on testing. We've got a little nod to the fact that the Australian Grand Prix is starting in a week and a bit, which is good. Then we're going to talk about graphics. We're going to talk about everybody's favourite part of Formula One. We're going to talk about Lego and Hot Wheels. And then everybody else's favourite part of Formula One, who's watched Formula One for the last 5 years, we're going to talk about DTS.
Look at this.
Look at that.
I like the new format of us having a table of contents. This is good. We should do this more often.
We should. It might not happen next week.
No, we might forget. We might be too excited. But for the time being, table of contents, there it is.
I don't normally do this, look, and I've got...
This guy's got notes. 2025, Dan Jads. Here we go.
Here we go. Bring in receipts.
Here we go. Right, should we start with testing then? Because testing happened. I don't think either of us watched a huge amount of it because I'm going to be honest with you. I really like F1 and I'm a bit of a nerd. And even I find testing way too long. And that's too badgery for me. Is 8 hours of testing a day for 3 days. That's too much. Too much.
That's fair enough. That's completely. I started to watch it one day, and I was kind of sat on the sofa, and was I enjoying it, or was it just noise? I think it was just noise. One thing I don't like, and I realise we are doing a podcast, and the whole kind of medium of this is talking.
Yes.
But it did feel an awful lot like the people commentating on it just did not shut up for a single second. But anyway, I was sat there, I was watching it, I was paying some kind of attention, see what cars went round circles. And my girlfriend walked in, she went, "Who's winning?" And I went, "Well, actually, it's testing." And then she went, "What does that mean then?" And I went, "Well," and she went, "So it's pointless then?" And I went, "Yeah." And then I felt a bit kind of emasculated about that. So I turned it off and probably put Loose Women on or something like that. And that was the end of it. But yeah, it happened, didn't it? And there were a few things, as I mentioned, the bus came on the circuit. Lando had a bit of a tank slapper, I think, at a point, which was interesting.
Well, I think someone locked up. Once, maybe a couple of times.
Yeah, the Williams did some good things. Red Bull maybe didn't, and Aston Martin are still shite. So, but the one thing that I kind of took away from it, and this is an interesting point, and I did in the point that they were waffling on about. But Bahrain's got like 4 different FIA Grade 1 set up layouts type thing.
I didn't know that. That's a fun fact.
It's not bad, is it? So they've got the one that we see. They've got the one that they raced in COVID times. The really quick, like outer loop bit, and they do like the lap in about 48 seconds or something. They've got one which the Le Mans cars do, which is different, and then they've got another one which I think Formula One raced once or twice, and everybody thought it was awful. So they've got 4, and the point was raised actually is like if we're there for 6 sessions of testing, could they switch these around and give the teams different things to do and give them different corners and stuff to make it a little bit more interesting? I don't know. It was just something out there. I thought it was a good idea.
Well, Bahrain in general is, I mean, I understand why they go. Oil money.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But I also think as a track, it's quite mixed, isn't it? It's got a little bit of everything for everyone, which is quite clever. But no, I didn't know I had 4, which is, why not? Would you ever like to see, and the answer to this is no, but I'll ask a question anyway.
Okay, cool.
Should we do reverse Grand Prix where they just go, fuck it, just turn all the cars around, we'll go backwards?
I've pondered it.
Not in reverse, I should say.
Yeah,
the cars are driving forward.
I've pondered it, and I reckon there's something silly that like they've only got their like Grade 1 safety certificates for cars going in a particular direction. I don't know whether like
there will be
you know what I
bureaucracy,
mean?
like barrier stuff, I'm sure. But if we could wrap the whole thing in bubble wrap, right?
Yeah.
So that Kimmy's going to be safe when he spins it.
Yeah, why not?
See what happens.
Yeah.
See what
Fuck
happens.
around and find out, I think is the
Yeah,
technical
why not?
kind of terminology for that.
Like
That's
summer
in-
break, rookie race, summer break. They do Silverstone backwards. See what happens.
Yeah.
Stefano,
Imagine coming down the hill at Monaco, like out of Casino Square, down the hill into that
down
left-hander.
Eau Rouge and Radion.
I reckon they'd take off, wouldn't they?
I just think I'm an ideas man. I don't know about you.
I don't need to worry about the
I'm an ideas
execution. I just do the ideas. But what did we actually kind of... We took away two kind of things, didn't we? One, and this was based on the 2024 qualifying times, is that Williams were allegedly up. Well, they weren't allegedly up. They were. They were up by about 0.8 of a second. And the other interesting point, Mercedes was about the same. Ferrari was a little bit slower. But Red Bull were 0.4 slower than what they managed in 2024. So the two questions is, have Williams just stumbled across something incredible? I mean, they've binned off their absolute dog turd driver for starters, so that helps. And are Red Bull, are they just mucking about and just waiting to kind of turn up and be competitive as we expect them to be?
Yeah, testing, I did wonder, because I looked at results for testing. I didn't sit down and watch testing. I just watched like a little bit of recap and a little bit of Reddit chat and all that. It felt a little bit of testing like Red Bull were just maybe going roguer than other people, and that they were perhaps further from their what we'll see in Melbourne as maybe the banker car. What I will say as well, not a clue if I'm just making stuff up here, but I just felt maybe that they're the ones that went, we've got this wild wing idea, or we've got this bit for the floor that's either going to make us 4 seconds quicker or the car won't start. Let's try it.
That's how floors work.
Let's see what happens. Like a unit like that. I know they regressed a little bit and then came back and regressed a little bit last year. They're not going to have fucked it with the actual car.
No.
So you can't help but think maybe they were doing some funky things. Perhaps. Maybe they have fucked up. I don't know. Maybe they were doing some funky things in a last-ditch effort of like, let's give that a go, because that could be brilliant. And if it's not, we've still got the car. The car that we finished last year has had some little simulator updates and it's still sat there.
Yeah, I don't think, from what I listened to, I don't really think McLaren have done anything. I don't think Williams have done much. I think Mercedes, by all accounts, have like pinched the side pod design from Red Bull. But other than that, and nobody was really talking about it. Who was quite protective? I think Ferrari might have been quite protective of their front wing. And then one of the girls went down there and was like, "Can I have a look at your front wing?" And they were like, "No."
Yeah.
And that was it, really. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
But yeah, testing happens. I don't know. I'm sure it used to be a bit more exciting. You know, the other thing as well is, and I know that there was some kind of rumours lately about them thinking about bringing back the V10 engine to Formula One. Mm-hmm. At least when there was V10s and they were testing, at least you could have it on in the background and go, "Ooh, that sounds really good." Whereas now it just sounds like you're listening to Jeremy Clarkson drive past in his Lamborghini tractor.
Can I be really controversial for a second, which I like to do from time to time? And this is going to draw some ire from people. I don't give a fuck what F1 cars sound like. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
I don't know, though.
I will say Formula E cars sound like dog shit, and I struggle to listen to those mosquitoes flying around, and that irritates me.
Yeah.
And I can hear the difference between old school F1 cars and their engines and the new hybrid cars and whatever. Yeah. And I will completely agree. They are very different noises. And it's going to be a thing that I wasn't used to the last one and whatever. And I know that. But I don't even listen to the old ones and go, "Oh, that's so much cooler." Because I just don't care. But I'm the same with other cars as well, like supercars and stuff. Like someone revving their engine of some like Maserati and it's like, "Oh, can you keep it down? I'm trying to watch telly." Like Fair enough. Just I've never got, and I know that is very much the unpopular opinion, and like, don't speak that in serious circles, but I watch it for the racing, not the noises. You know,
It's not my thing.
It's fair comment.
I think I guess there's an element of harking back to your childhood. I think probably what makes it a little bit more kind of emotional and evocative than what it does for someone, as you say, like yourself, that's kind of been involved in the sport for the last like 5 years or something. But yeah, they do just sound better. And that's the end of the argument. If somebody put a gun to your head and said which one is better, I can't help but feel if you're indifferent, that's fine. You just have your brains blown out.
At this point,
whatever. That's it. You're lost.
Great result.
You'd have to pick one, and if you pick the other one, I think someone would probably shoot you anyway. So, are we done on testing? Can we talk about the end of penises instead?
I just want to, before that.
Oh, not more testing.
More testing.
Yes.
Please actually be quick, Williams. Please.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Like, please just be. I just hope that it's not a case that everyone else was sandbagging and Williams were actually putting foot down, low fuel, maximum beans, like send it laps.
Piss through every set of soft tyres they could find in Bahrain.
I would love it if Williams this year did what Aston did in 22, where they just turned up and just started banging it on the podium, and everyone was like, "What's going on?" And then they fell away, so if they could, maintain it.
Yeah,
but I don't even know why I feel so softly for Williams. I have no reason to.
It's James.
It's probably James. And to be fair, it's probably James and Carlos and Alex. They're all cute, but I just want them to do well, please. I don't know why, but please don't let that have been like a false flag. Actually, be quick, please, please, please.
Surely we have to believe what Lord Honourable James Vowles has been talking about for this entirety of his tenure as the top of Williams, is the fact that they don't give a shit until 2026 comes around. Mm-hmm. So for them to have changed that 2024 car to this 2025 version and have found 0.8 of a second would lead you to believe that James Vowles has been lying through his teeth every second of every press conference that he's ever done in his entire life whilst he's worked for Williams. So if they have done it, no, don't get me wrong, like they were the team that I grew up supporting. So yes, I'll be one of the biggest cheerleaders if I see them up the top of the pecking order. That'd be great. But it does make me wonder about what they've been planning to do with 2026 if this is what they've come up with. So
imagine if Williams the whole time and James Vowles had just been like bullshitting everyone to throw them off the scent. Like, we don't care about 25. We're throwing it. It's all about 26. We might not even run in 25. I don't know. We'll send a bike. And they turn up Australia round 1, 8 seconds clear because they found something in the regulations. And every week it's Sainz and Albon 1-2 because they found some jet engine. Imagine. James Vowles, you're a cunning bastard, and I wouldn't put it past him. I don't think it's true. I wouldn't put it past him. But, please, James.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Williams great again. Get it on a red hat. People will buy it. They'll love it. They'll vote for you. And then you can sort wars out, allegedly. Right. Yeah. Can I talk about helmets now?
We can talk about helmets now.
Yes. Because this is the thing that I think we are actually qualified to talk about as a pair of helmets ourselves.
Correct.
Obviously, the other thing about liveries is the fact that we can look at them and we can go, I like it, I don't like it. And helmets fall in that same category. They have given us, the world and the internet world has given us every driver helmet for every team on a nice little gridded type setup. And what we went through, and I sent it to you and I went, this is quite handy the way it's presented. And then we thought we'd do a top 3 and a bottom 3 and maybe an honourable mention here and there. But my question is to you, there are 20 helmets on this little grid. Mm-hmm. How many of these 20 helmets are going to be on the grid in Australia? And how many of those drivers are going to have a special helmet and we're not actually going to see their helmet on the first race of the weekend?
That's a great question.
It's good, isn't it? Because Oscar and Jack are having special helmets.
You'd think. It's definitely... can Doohan can't run a special helmet on Debut, surely.
He's only going to be in Formula 1 for 3 weeks. Like, he's going to have a special lid.
True. What happens, by the way, if Jack Doohan runs a special lid for round 1, finishes P20, gets binned out of the car, and the only helmet he ever ran with was his special edition? It's his one and done. It's like Lando's testing helmet. It's a great question, because as you say, those two are definitely running it.
Yeah.
Lawson's a chance. He could go Anzac, because he's not getting a home race. It's the closest he's coming.
Absolutely. You could bet your bottom dollar that if for whatever reason George Russell or Kimi Antonelli ended up sick in Melbourne, that Valtteri Bottas would definitely have an Australian style.
It'd be a pie or something as well. Like it would be something daft.
Yeah.
I think it's 2. I think it's 2 because I think that leaves room for Piastri will run one. Right, we know Oscar Piastri is going to run one because it will be quad lock or some sponsor bollocks. I don't think Doohan's brave enough to run one in Australia. I don't think the bloke's swinging his dick about that much at the minute. I think he's just trying to keep his head down and not get sacked. And then I think Lawson... I don't know if Lawson... Now, this is harsh, right? I've never met the bloke. I know very little about the bloke. I don't know if Lawson's got enough personality for a special edition helmet.
Whoa. I mean, that is a statement and a half. Clip it out, get it on social media, and come at us, Liam Lawson fans.
Hey, he might be an incredible bloke, and we might see a lot from him. But Franco Colapinto arrived, and we were like, this bloke's incredible. And then Liam Lawson turns up, and it's kind of like shit supermarket vanilla ice cream. There's no flecks of vanilla bean in it.
What I would like to see from Liam Lawson this year, I agree with you. I don't know that much about him, but I do know he likes Lightning McQueen.
He does.
We've got 3 opportunities to go stateside this year, and we know that he's going to have his calendar planned out. Yep. Get yourself a Lightning McQueen Ka-Chow helmet for Miami, Vegas, Texas.
If you're Pixar, are you picking up the phone? Surely.
Yeah.
Surely you're picking up the phone and being like, hey, let's make something happen here.
100%.
It's a nice time. Is there a new Cars film coming out at some point? Get him in the Cars film.
Actually, yeah.
Get a New Zealand car in the Cars film.
Anyway, who are your... Do you want to do the bottom 3 first? Or do you want
that's more fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
I'm
going to wind some people up with mine. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to wind some people up.
Hamilton, Max, Lando.
Do you want my bottom 3 bang, bang, bang? Because they're not in any particular order.
Nah, I mean, mine aren't in any order, to be fair, but...
Now, and I'll give you my reasoning first before I say them, right? I'm looking for individuality in helmet design, and I'm looking for pleasing graphic design one way or another, right?
Okay. I'm curious now.
I'm looking for Bitcoin, right, in my designs, right? I want you to have had to have microtransacted your way to your helmet design, right?
Okay.
And on that note, back of the grid, the Wodium, right? Verstappen, Alonso, Kimi Antonelli. All of them are base tier. You've just opened F124 for the first time. You've not put any money into the game. They are just basic swooshes. Okay, I will admit Verstappen's logo on the top puts him maybe slightly ahead of, Kimi and Alonso. The lion kind of works nicely on the top. The rest of it's a bit junk, I think. The gold version was better. They're just very meh. They're not offensive, but they're just very scrub tier for me.
I'll buy it. And I agree with you with Kimi Antonelli. On the same reason, actually. Like, I did try and look at these as to kind of think who was base game and who was not. The other one that I think is horrendously bad is our mate Jack Doohan. Because
interesting.
That looks like... That kind of looks like... You know when you open the game up for the first time and they give you boring, 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 and you go, kind of funky, but still shit. That's what I've got from Jack Doohan there. Kind of funky, bit shit still. And it does look like he's walked in his local kind of helmet shop and they've just had that available.
It's a bit jaggedy as well. I don't mind the schwa on it. Like they're kind of...
Maybe it's a throwback to what his dad would have ridden with, maybe.
But it's yeah.
So it looks a bit old school. Next, I had obviously Kimi Antonelli themselves. Lance Stroll is there because that just looks to me as I have absolutely no personality whatsoever. I don't care. I want to blend in. Please don't draw any attention to myself. And hopefully, if I'm driving around, they might even think and look at it and go, there's nobody in that car. And the helmet just blends in.
It's void of design. But to help him, and what has saved him, and he gets an honourable mention from me for this alone, it's a very pretty colour. Because the Aston Martin British Racing Green is just a very pretty colour. So he's, by default there, scored a few points because it's a nice colour to look at, I think.
Yeah. The other one as well that I had, that I've actually looked into a little bit more, and I don't believe this is going to be Yuki Tsunoda's helmet for the entire year. It looks a bit too special edition for that. I don't know. It looks... Because, I mean, that looks like autumnal leaves, doesn't it, all over the helmet?
Spoilers, he's in my top 3 for that, because that's stunning lid.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It does also look like kind of the HR lady at Red Bull has just given it to him as well. It's the biggest Red Bull liveried helmet on the grid for a bloke that doesn't even drive for the side.
Mate. He's trying to stay relevant.
But there's no way he's running autumnal leaves all year. No chance.
I don't know, because they're the Japanese maple.
Yeah, but it's not autumn all year, is it? That's the beauty about seasons. They change.
They do. They are known for changing. I've lost my graphic as well, by the way. This is a disaster. I'm trying to scroll and find my graphic again.
Don't hold it on the screen like that. Is that helpful?
F1 post a lot. They do not make it easy to go and find a graphic when you've lost a graphic. I'm getting liveries. I'm getting F1 75. I'm getting Kimi Antonelli's little hairless face. Get out of me way. There it is. I'll tell you why I lost it. They've posted again since we started recording, so it wasn't in the middle column anymore. It had moved over.
Yeah.
Right, let's have some good news then. Who's your top three?
Lando.
Yep, I'll agree.
Squiggly, jazzily.
Nice.
Good colour.
Right? That's Pitcoin.
Yeah.
That is a Pitcoin helmet.
No, he's definitely rinsed his mum's credit card for that.
Oh, 100%. And what I will say, it's a nice development on last year. It's very similar. It's not quite the same. It worked nicely in Versa at, I think, Singapore or somewhere. He did a
bit chromey
an
as well.
alternate
Didn't he
version.
have one, maybe?
Yeah. His testing helmet as well, very nice. The sort of camo-y. Bloke knows how to do a helmet.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I like it. It's good. And my other two are down the bottom, actually. One is Hulkenberg. Because that just looks like
Again,
stealth bomber B-52 flying over Afghanistan and dropping its payload over all the
big
bad guys.
Pitcoin energy again on that, isn't there, with the
100%.
stars and all sorts.
And the last one, and I really like the colourway about it. I like a bit of pink in my life, you know? So I've gone for Alex Albon.
Okay. I had honourable mentioned him. And I actually also... It's a very, very quiet honourable mention. It's more a mention, actually. It's not super honourable.
Okay.
Liam Lawson. Again, the pink. It's quite nice. It's not the best helmet design, which is why he's not managed to get himself into, the upper echelon. But it's quite nice.
Who are you rocking?
Rounding out my podium. So I'm Lando. Yuki, I just think it's a very pretty helmet. Like you say, it does look a bit special edition-y.
Yeah.
But nice. They tend to put more effort into the special edition ones, so that's a positive from me. Alex Albon got an honourable from me because, again, it is a nice colourway and the design of that is quite pleasing as well. I'm giving it to Carlos Sainz. I think it's a nice... It's bold. It's blending nicely like team colours and personal colours. It's not... I mean, there are a lot of sponsors on it, but they don't feel like... It's not a billboard helmet. There are a few billboard helmets in here. Even though he's got sponsors all over it, they just sort of blend in a little bit. So, I'll give it to Carlos.
You know, we're really complimentary about Lewis and his PR team and work and ideas that he comes up with. I think what I've learned today is that Carlos is pretty shit hot with this as well. Everything that you've seen Carlos post in or pose in or get interviewed in now, it's all nice kind of shades of blue. Yeah. He looks very Williamsy, doesn't he? Even to the point that apparently, and I didn't even know this because I don't follow Carlos particularly closely, but last year all of his cycling lycra for his kind of team that he cycles with was all red. And so he's just bought them all new ones and now they're all blue.
Oh, that's good. And I like that. That's a bloke that's buying in.
Yeah. And
he's all
I just
in.
think it's great.
Yeah. What it does, and look, we might be reading into it far too much, and it might just be PR bullshit that someone else has decided and he doesn't actually care. Bullshit. Could be.
Yeah, could be that. It's a chance.
I like that he's buying in. Yeah. He's going, you know what? I'm here. It's shit. I don't like it here. The HQ looks like a garden centre. But I'm going full send on the fact that, well, if I'm here, I might as well really get all stuck into it. And he's getting stuck in. So, fair play, Carlos. Sticking on a podium. Go on, son. Go on to Williams.
Love it.
What neither of us have done there, and I will give another mention, and it's relatively honourable. We have touched on it a little bit before. Lewis Hamilton, it's a nice lid again.
Yeah.
It's nice. The yellow is just, it's a big old change. I know he used to be it and whatever, but yeah, that's just nice. It's a nice lid.
It's the absolute polar opposite to Lance Stroll, isn't it? Lance is, I don't want anybody to see me. Lewis is, I'm driving a bright red car. I'm going to go for the absolute opposite that I possibly can and let everybody know that I'm in it. And I like that.
Just clocked he's got 7 stars on the side as well. Just clocked that.
Should be 8. But anyway.
Depends. There you go. Helmet
still
chat.
Not over it. What do you want to talk about next? Australia, graphics, Lego, Drive to Survive.
Oh, look, we'll stay visual and we'll talk about some graphics, shall we? Because F1's got new graphics for this year and they're bloody pointy. I'll tell you.
Didn't even notice.
They got a sharp edge on them. Look, I know there are bigger things in the world to think about and worry about and whatever. I actually thought last year's graphics were pretty good. I liked the rounded edge. The rounded edge kind of mirrored the logo, and it was a little bit... It seems quicker. The graphics seemed faster last year than this year's graphics. This year's graphics are a little bit basic for my liking. I couldn't find an example for you, but the driver radio graphic is a bit...
Well, they're not going to use that anyway this year, are they? Because they'll swear too much.
Yeah. Imagine if the drivers as well just went, we're not talking this year. We're doing it all via, like, the teams will talk and we'll just button signal it back, like when the radio doesn't work.
Imagine, like, having numbered fingers for when you go past the pit lane for your pit crew to figure out as to what's going on. So you're driving past at 220 miles an hour and you've got, like...
So they just yell out the car on the way past. Tyres are fine.
I think he said the tyres are okay.
He said, yeah, did he say that? Look, there are bigger things to worry about. But, yeah, maybe they'll grow on me. I don't know. I quite liked the last ones. The new ones feel a little bit cramped for me. I know there are people that say, like, oh, we want to see more of the track and stuff. Yeah. They zoom in so much these days that area is such a safe area anyway that it doesn't really matter. But, yeah, I don't know if I like the red one on the new F1 timing tower either. It looks a little bit like that person's got a penalty to me. Like, you're drawing it. They're already at the top of the list. I know they're winning. Putting the big red square there suggests to me that there's a problem. They've stopped on track. They're under investigation. They've got a penalty. It just, don't know. But
I don't know. I mean,
they'll grow on me, I'm sure.
They look a little bit smaller. They look like they take up less green space, which I don't think is a bad thing. The ones from 2024 look like their opacity was slightly lower.
I think this year
looks
we've
like a
gone
solid block,
yes,
maybe.
Which, again, I know we're not seeing a huge amount behind there, but it would actually probably make them feel less in the
intrusive.
Way.
Yeah.
Just, take 10% off it. We can get 10% off it, surely.
I mean, one thing I would like to see, and I doubt it will happen, but you know the little red line above Lawson on this example? Mm-hmm. I'd love that to kind of drop down to show as to who's on the lead lap and who's a lap down. That's what I'd like to see. It won't happen, but there you go. I'm an ideas man. There you go.
Well, we're just a pair of ideas blokes, aren't we? We're just a pair of ideas blokes. And actually, that's a great segue, because speaking of ideas blokes, Adrian Newey's had his first day at Aston Martin. He's allowed to start working on the car because he's definitely not been working at home, working on anything from home.
Absolutely not.
Bloke doesn't own a pencil at home.
No.
I would not dare
he doesn't know anything about aerodynamics. Why would he have ever thought about what happens?
I don't think the bloke likes cars. I don't think the bloke likes cars in F1.
Nah.
What I will say, though, right, and this occurred to me the other day, right? He's had his first day in the office now, and they're always a little bit awkward, right? Adrian Newey, first day, Aston Martin. Do you reckon he walks in, and it's a little bit like the start of a Kitchen Nightmares episode, right? So Bald Ramsey, in this instance, right, Mr. Newey, walks in, and he's into the fridge, and there's the smug owner. Lawrence is still over to the side. He thinks he's hot shit, and he's got the best recipe for a car ever. And Adrian's straight into the fridge, and what's there? It's just a bucket of raw, mouldy chicken. And he's scooping his hands through and going, what the fuck's this? Oh, this is disgusting. And he's throwing chicken car parts on the ground. And Lawrence has stood there going, I cleaned that last week. I don't know what you're talking about. We clean it all the time. You're making out of nothing. And then he storms out and says, I can't do this. And then Lawrence comes outside and they have it out and then they hug and then bang, they fix the restaurant and the team is saved and Lance wins the championship and then it shuts down like 2 weeks later.
I was about to ask, whatever happens to those restaurants after the TV cameras go?
They shut down.
Because probably Gordon Ramsay makes them completely unsustainable and they can't actually continue cooking fresh lasagna. So they go back to just piercing the film on top of the stuff that they bought from Iceland and serving it up as their homemade lasagna. Aston Martin
is a pierced frozen lasagna.
100% is. And I don't think it gets much better than that, does it? Even if you put frozen garlic bread next to it. Don't think it's any better.
No.
One thing that actually did happen apparently on Mr. Newey's first day, and I think this is utter horseshit because I can't think of a single moment of my life that I've ever been in any situation that I've ever been in awe of somebody. But they were trying to convince me on this testing bollocks that they gave him like an 8-minute standing ovation.
Fuck off. Fuck
no
right
chance.
Off. No, they didn't.
Not a single chance.
Minutes.
Yes.
Just think about how long a minute's silence already feels like 8 minutes. right? And that's 1 minute. 8 minutes, not a chance. Never happened. Right, you want to launch into Lego. You brought this up. Lego and Hot Wheels. You've got an issue. You've got an issue with, is it Danish Lego? You've got an issue with the Danes.
Could be, or the Chinese stuff that you get from AliExpress.
All of that.
Who knows? No, an issue is strong because I quite like a little bit of Lego. I find it quite fun, particularly the real stuff. That's even more fun. The fake stuff is quite stressful. My my big issue is right with these is they've launched all of these brand new Lego Speed Champions. By the way, Lego, if you're listening, I've seen you've sent a load of shit over to people that have got a few followers on the internet. So if you want to send some over this way, your stuff's brilliant.
So good. Don't listen to the next little bit. Hit skip forward a few times. Next 3 minutes. And then come back.
Yeah. Do you reckon they've gone now?
Yep, no, we're safe.
Okay, cool. Why have you released a load of designs on cars that aren't the designs on the cars anymore? This was teased. This stuff was teased in Vegas.
Yeah.
It must have been ready to go. So you've missed the end of the 2024 season when all of these liveries were relevant. It's the same for you, Hot Wheels, as well. I'm not just picking on Lego. Hot Wheels have fucked it up too. But I don't know when that got teased anyway. But anyway, so they've missed the 24 season. Then, and I don't know much about retail, but I would imagine for things like Lego, Christmas is a fairly big time of the year, I would have thought, for several countries around the world. So they've missed that as well. And what they've done is they've waited until the start of March, just 16 days before the start of the 2025 season, and about 3 days after the F175 launch event, when all of the 2025 liveried cars were announced, to go, great news, we've got Lego F1 cars for all of the Formula One teams. Now, on face value, there are a few there that you can get away with. McLaren, fine. Mercedes, fine. Aston, fine. Sauber, Kick, whatever it's called. Yeah, all right, that's fine. Haas is a little bit different, like the colours are the wrong way around. Red Bull, obviously, is fine. But what the hell are they going to do with all of the Visa Cash App RB VCarb 01 F1 race cars at £22.99 when everybody realises the fact that they're not blue anymore?
Yeah. And it's quite a long way off. And so we talked about this before briefly, and I said to you, I get it from a logistical standpoint. These things probably don't get turned around that quickly. But by the same token, release them mid-season when you know what the liveries are. The car shape is going to stay the same. Have all your models done, and then just have your designer sat refreshing, hitting send receive over and over again until all the teams have locked in their starting livery, and then have it ready by round 3. Or mid-start, like summer break, even. Launch a mid-year. I know they're doing it start of year, everyone's excited and whatever. Yeah. No, I think you bang on. Give me the proper cars mid-season than last year's cars at the start of the next season.
There's probably a very good reason as to why EA Sports or whatever makes it now don't release their football game in May for the season before that's just happened. I think that's probably quite a good reason for it, and they're quite good at keeping on top of things like that. Any of it take your eye? Any of it, do you think you're going to go, do you know what? I like a little bit of that, and I'd like some on my shelf.
No, I've got the big boy.
Fine.
I've got the big boy McLaren already.
Which is 100% completely legitimate.
Yes, sir. And then I have a 100% completely legitimate big boy Mercedes in a bag downstairs that will shortly be sitting on that side. No boxes.
Oh.
No boxes. We don't need boxes. Shipping and stuff. Environmental, etc.
Things. Penguins.
And I enjoy them a lot. I enjoy bigger scaled Lego models. I'm not like, oh, I want the little pot plant and stuff. No, if I'm going to build Lego, I want a big fuck offset. Because then things get more detailed and that sort of thing. So I'm not super interested in like the little speed champions that are like 6-inch or whatever they are, 6-8 inch.
Well, I mean,
because there's just not quite enough pieces
that's a lot,
for me.
So,
well, you know.
How about then? How about if you want a real big boy? How about one of the £199? Interestingly, the Red Bull and the Ferrari are priced the same, but the Red Bull's got 300 more pieces than the Ferrari. Anyway, they're both £199, and they are some big boy things that you could play around with if you wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, by this point, I'll have this whole wall behind me. I'll just have a grid, which would look quite cool all the way down.
Yeah.
Mounted to the wall.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested. I want big boys. The big Technic-y,
Chomps.
like, you start building the car. Like, you build that McLaren, you go, I feel like I'm learning how to build a car.
I'm Adrian Newey.
There's a pistony bit, and then a bracey bit, and a brakey bit, and a wheelie bit, and a wingy bit, and I've now got a car.
Next thing you know, you've got a double end rear diffuser or whatever it was that got banned out of Formula One a couple of years ago. Blown double rear
is my diffuser. Oh yeah.
And you stumbled across it, and you kind of think this is probably quicker than a Sauber.
Yeah.
Or a Kick.
And the Haas, if we're to believe testing.
Yeah.
Which Ollie Behrman might as well walk this year
That's
based
another
on testing.
entry-level Bitcoin lid, to be fair, for Ollie Behrman. But
yeah.
Anyway, there you go. There's Lego. Done. Boxed off.
There's Lego.
What do you want to talk
about? And then the big one.
Yeah, DTS. We'll save Australia, won't we, for when Australia comes around?
We've got next week for Australia. There's some excitement to be had there yet. Drive to Survive is back, and can we all just shut up about it, please? And by that I mean the people that make abusing people that like Drive to Survive their entire mission and personality for the year. You don't have to like Drive to Survive. You don't need to tell everyone that you don't like Drive to Survive at every opportunity. And even more so than that, can we stop trying to make people feel bad for liking Drive to Survive or for getting into F1 because of Drive to Survive? Welcome to F1. Welcome. Have a hug. Let's talk about cars. Right? I don't care how you got into it. You're into it. And that's cool beans. So let's just all talk about cars.
Welcome to your first day on the internet type thing, this, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you're allowed not to like it. I think you are.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of the reason as to why people won't like it is because it feels like it's cinema first and show second, I think, for a lot. And I think sometimes the sport aspect of Formula One is lost when you watch back through those documentaries. And I think some of it was I remember watching the first couple of the seasons, and I felt some of it was quite hard to follow in what my memory kind of told me what happened on those particular weekends, which I thought was quite disappointing. But I also realized the fact they're trying to cram 24 races into an 8-hour kind of documentary, and that's quite difficult to try and patch that together. So don't act like a dick, I think, is probably the summary there. I don't know. I would imagine a lot of people before Drive to Survive were probably quite happy with the way that Formula One was, and were probably quite happy with the way that it kind of muddled along and did what it did. I don't think there's any denying the fact that Formula One is a bigger beast now because of the Drive to Survive and because of that influx of new fans and new supporters and people that have got new interest in it. I mean, throwback 30 seconds, we were talking about Lego sets for every car on the grid. They're making historic Formula One Lego sets because people are interested in it now. It's fantastic. It's great. Hot Wheels are jumping on the bandwagon as well. Good on them. Like, fair play. But yeah, just don't be an arsehole, I think is probably the summary.
Can we stop making Drive to Survive fan an insult as well? Like, that's...
Oh, yeah.
It's not an insult. Oh, you're just a Drive to Survive fan. Shut up.
Yeah.
It's just...
Somebody will claim xenophobia or something towards that and you'll be fine. It'll be outlawed.
I just don't understand that if you're supposed... This isn't even team rivalry stuff. I even find that a little bit stupid in sport. And I understand it's tribalism and all that. At least with tribalism on teams, you have a reason to go at each other. You're just a McLaren fan. Fine. You've picked your side. If we're going to make it a war mentality, whatever, you're on different sides of the battlefield. Great. Having a go at another Formula One fan because they're a Formula One fan. What battle are you trying to fight there, son? So let's just all have an amnesty this year, please. Right? As a bloke that came in via Drive to Survive, right? 5 years ago, and now I do a podcast about it, and there's Lego on my shelf, and I play the games, and I've got 3 racing sims, right? So my opinion doesn't carry any less weight, and I probably follow F1 a lot closer than people that have even been following it for 20 years. So it's a fun show. Enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, great. Don't have to watch it. See you in Australia. Job done.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Can't sum it up better myself, but it's out soon, and I dare say, do you know what? I haven't watched it for a while, but for the content and for something to talk about, I will somehow endure my way through. I've got a couple of flights coming up, so I'll be able to stick it on something and be able to watch it through there. So yeah, we'll be all right. But yeah, it's not far away now. Formula One, cars going around corners quickly. It's going to be good.
Next weekend.
Going to be good.
Next weekend. So we'll be back. Apologies, I'll say now. I probably should have said this at the start. Apologies that we missed a week last week. I had no internet, and then I was in San Francisco in a hotel room that was not big enough to podcast in. But we'll be back next week. I can say that much because we'll be back next week because there'll be some excitement afoot. But in the meantime, if they'd like to go and see Dan do other things on the internet, they can follow
At Dan Jazz.
And if you want to see me do things on the internet, you can again now.
He's streaming again.
Twitch.tv/Hey Look It's Alex. It won't be F1 related stuff, but you can come and chat shit with me there. And if you've made it this far, you must have enjoyed it. So leave a review and tell someone else about it. And if you want to do more friendly things than that, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, at LapdownPod. Go and follow us there. And we will see you next week. Because racing's nearly here. Ha ha!
Woo!